Guarantee this is one of the most satisfying videos you're going to come across in your feed. And not in the other way satisfied like you get dopamine hits. This is like going to help you build serotonin, which if you didn't know, temporary happiness versus sustained laughing happiness. I'm going to ask questions. Answer them with sounds. Just sounds, okay? Deep breath in. Exhale. Did you take the breath? Are you sitting down? Do you have anything in your hand? Do you feel warm? Do you feel successful? Are you navigating anything challenging for your heart? Do you feel emotional? Are you outside? Do you like what you do for money? Do you miss your mom? Do you miss your dad? Do you have any brothers? Do you have any sisters? Do you like your brothers? Do you like your sisters? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you hydrated? Are you going to watch my live later? Wonderful. Sacred calibration complete. Do the breath again. Exhale. Congratulations. I know it might seem silly, but just by making sounds, responding in that way, you're connecting to a part of your body that you usually don't use to make decisions. In human design, 70% of the people have this center defined. That's called the sacral. That means all those uh-hs and sounds you just made, if you have a defined sacral, like you're supposed to trust those. You're supposed to use those for all of your decisions. This center is letting you know what your body is generating energy for and what it's like, to. 30% of the population has a sacral like this. This is an undefined sacral. And it does the same thing as the defined sacral, but in a different way. Instead of telling you about what your body is generating energy for and what your body is like, to, it'll tell you more about what other people's sacral responses to things are going to be. So in other words, you can get a lot of people's stuff and yucks and yums stuck in here if you're not mindful. And that will happen just by way of hanging out with someone who has the defined sacral. It is a physics equation. There's nothing personal about it at all. And if you want to escape adopting people's stuff and you want to live the life that you were designed to live, you have to not only be mindful from a mental perspective, but you also have to start physically deconditioning your body. What do I mean by that? In human design, we have two pressure centers, the head and the root. But in our physical bodies, we have baroreceptors all over. We have them in our mouth. We have them in our throat. They sense pressure in the physical body. And even though human design has only two sources of pressure, there are actually a lot of places that we can store pressure. Pressure along with heat are two of the most fundamental sensations that us as human beings in physical Homo sapien-like bodies can use to create any kind of manifestation, any kind of health and wellness or synergy in the body, any type of cooperation between the organs. We have to be able to comprehend and process pressure and heat. And this is something that you don't learn in classical human design. It's very mental, head and ajna. This is like a mental framework of your physical body. But the thing about this body graph is that it's supposed to help you surrender to the subtle energetics of your physical body. So how do you do that? You start by building a relationship with pressure and heat in your face. Positive pressure, negative pressure. As babies, it all starts here, and then everything below the neck starts to develop. Your hands start to get a little bit more dexterity. Eventually, you start to walk, but it's all because of wah, wah. That's called crying and breastfeeding, if you didn't get that, if you weren't a baby or if you don't remember. Not that I expect you to remember. I don't remember either. But most people's development gets stunted around the times that they become a toddler and they start weaning off the boob, or they start going to school and meeting mean kids who say like, oh, which artist sings that song? Oh yeah, you should let them sing it. Like, fuck. It's so important not to just get stuck in the mental of human design. You also have to decondition your physical body. And this exercise that I did at the beginning of this video is actually really, really helpful and healthy for that. And it's okay if it sucks. Like if you're not very good at it, you're like, the questions are going too fast, I'm thinking too much. Keep doing these exercises, because what's happening is you're coming against that mental authority that wants to have control over this inner world, mainly your sacral response in this situation. The only way to learn how to defeat that enemy is to fight that enemy and not just immediately give up. That's most people's problem, is that once the mind enters the arena, the body goes, oh, great, the mind is here. The mind knows everything. Yeah, about the external world because it's looking out into the world. But how does it know? How does it know whether the pressure or the temperature or heat or energy is right in the sacral? You can't look at that. That's happening inside your body. And there's sensors and circuitry and there's stuff already in here to help you figure out whether or not that's a healthy thing. Or and so the mind doesn't have as much authority inside the body, but it can play tyrant king. But when it does, life sucks. So anyway, if you actually do want to do something about this, come check out the links in my bio. I have a membership called The Archive that I have a feeling you are going to love. It's like